All right, everybody. Hi, and welcome. This is Les from Rialto Academy. I'm so happy to be bringing a special guest to our conversation today. As you know, we're talking about the theme of database communications and being human-based and tech-enhanced, while the big companies are all talking about tech rather nonstop. One of my favorite database communication companies is run by a man I'd like to call my friend, and his name is Richie Laser. Let me introduce you to Richie real quick. Hello, Richie. Thank you for being with us.
Hey, Les. It's my pleasure, as always.
Richie and I have some experience. We got to do coaching work together. I was fortunate to have Richie as a client years ago, and we built a nice connection, and I'm a fan of his business. I've referred a number of people over to follow-up results. I'll tell you more about this at the end of the recording. Yet I've referred a number of people over to follow-up results that have given me a lot of gratitude for the way their businesses have grown. And so we're going to ask Richie a few questions about the modern state of database communications in the home sales industry and what it's like with the changing environment and people talking so much about tech. So Richie,
Yes.
is there tension going on between teams? You know, we hear a lot about team growth, and yet the big don't want to talk about an end-to-end tech platform. Is there tension going on between free-range teams and the big companies in terms of tech?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a war going on between single agents and large teams and companies like Open Door, Red Brick, all those high-tech companies that are using artificial intelligence today. They're able to find out people in your database that are looking for homes or looking to sell their home, and they're going to find out before you. So the idea for all of us as single agents and smaller teams is to not only build your database, but protect your database. And that's all about communicating with them continuously.
So by staying in a good, solid relationship with them and staying top of mind and associated with value, that's what you're calling protecting?
Correct. Absolutely.
Well, what about agents that are, you know, it's an interesting time to enter the industry, I think you'd agree. And
Yes.
so we know lots of people that entered, you know, decades ago or, you know, in recent years, yet there are people that have just entered the industry. And so what you're telling me is other people already know more about their sphere of influence than they do. And here they are about to begin a database communications protocol. What do you tell people like that?
Absolutely. I think that, first of all, I think it's a great time for new agents because of technology. And also for a new agent, now's the time to work on your database, because now's the time that you actually have. Once you get into your business, become experienced, you don't have the time anymore. So what you do to set yourself up for tomorrow today is about your having a future or not in this business. So the best thing to do is, the first thing you do is build your database.
You're reminding me a little bit of a saying that I know you and I have been fond of in the past, which is, when's the best time to plant a tree? And the answer is 20 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Well, today.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, so let's say I got my license yesterday and I am looking at beginning my database. I guess I'm beginning with my sphere. What if I can only think of, say, 50 names or something? How do I really get started?
Well, that's what everyone thinks in the beginning, but people don't really understand that they know a hell of a lot more people than that. You begin writing out, putting down all your friends, all your relatives, all the people that you think you know. Then turn, let's say, even to Facebook. You have more friends on Facebook. Try to get them into your database. Also, I used to teach this all the time. Every day we go about our own business and we're purchasing things. You get your haircut, you go to the dry cleaners, you're giving other companies your business continuously. There's nothing wrong with you going into those businesses that you're giving your business to and saying, hey, I'm a realtor. and I would like to have your contact information put in my database. So this way you can help me now in my business.
That sounds fair. That's fair enough. Recruiting business from people that you bring business to.
And a simple thing of just wearing your realtor name badge, really wearing it everywhere you go, it actually begins conversations.
Right. So that would be an opener for you. They might even start the conversation. Oh, I
They
noticed
will.
you're wearing. Uh-huh. That's interesting. And and that's a great example of what we're talking about, that's human as it gets. I went to get a haircut. I bring that person business. I spoke to them and the owner of their shop and the person in the next chair while I was there and walked with 3 names. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. Well, number one, I mean, don't go in there expecting to get real estate business. You're just trying to build up your database for future. We went to a convention one day and a coach was on stage and he said, you meet someone in the street, what's the chances of that person selling their house? And everyone had different answers. But he said, no, 100%. At one point in time, he's going to sell his house. Put him in your database.
Right, whether it's today or not.
Right.
And we talked to in our coaching business. One of the questions that we are familiar with all of our real estate clients, actually all of our home sales clients, we ask the same question for the title and the mortgage guys and things like that, which is how often are people moving and how much are you in touch with their situation? Because if you're in touch with their situation, you're going to know a lot about when they're likely to need your services, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the numbers right now are people will move well, it used to be every 5 to 7 years. Now it's sometimes between 7 and 10 years. But I heard a statistic that you may have bought a house for a client. I think 13% of those clients will move in under 4 years.
Right, and then in areas in our research and in our coaching experience, we found that areas with a high military component, for instance, they're going to move more frequently as well. And you also have investors operating more rental properties and acquiring rental properties. Mm-hmm. And so when we say we don't know what the client's going to do, it's not entirely true. We do have some pretty good educated guesses. If they have, like me, if they have 5 children that are all mm-hmm. clearing college about now, right, we can make guesses about what they might need, right?
Today, I started real estate about 16 years ago. My wife and I used to have a restaurant. I had everyone all clients in our database. I sold their homes. Now I'm selling their children's homes.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, and you're a shining example of database. So one thing I want to tell those of you watching about Richie's company, Follow Up Results, is he's got some really cool assets. And when you use their services, he gives necessary coaching at the beginning to help you get into action. And he even created some really cool documents about what does a monthly business plan look like for the launch of a database. And so if you're somebody in this situation where you're starting, there's an extra good reason why you're going to enjoy taking a look at this. Yet to drill down on this topic a little bit more, Richie. So now instead I'm a brand new agent. Let's say I've been in business a few years. I have, I'm going to say I have 600 or 700 names in my database, yet I have not really managed to get that much business out of it yet. What sort of advice are you going to give me after I have a few years and 600 or 700 names? What changes?
Well, number one, I would be very happy if I had 600 or 700 people in my database that I actually know. It turns out if you have that many, when it comes to marketing to your database, you're going to get more open rates, more click-through rates than an agent that has thousands of people in their database that they do not know. So good for you if you have that many. So the thing is now, how are you going to build on that database of people that you already know, they know you, and how to build the relationship with those people. And that's through constant staying in touch. Agents ask me all the time, am I doing too much? There is no such thing as doing too much. Are you doing enough? All right, so because even email marketing, text messaging, video marketing, which is all great to do, as an agent, you have to learn what you need to do to complement that. Holding events, calling your database.
And what makes that personal? Because, you know, when we talk to realtors and we tell them that you might have 33 or 36 communications a year with people in your database, these are really common numbers, as you know, in the main, as you're totally familiar with in the main real estate literature.
Right.
Yeah, then we'll talk to people that service the exact same clients at the exact same intervals, like say lenders. And lenders will say, oh, well, that would be crazy. My clients would hate it if I sent them 36 items in a year. What would you say to something like that?
Well, listen, everyone, every kind of business, every company is trying to grab attention of people in your database. You're not the only one. The idea is to, number one, the people in your database that are actually thinking about buying or selling, they're the ones that are going to be attracted to, let's say, the emails that you're sending out to. You're not expecting everyone in your database to pay attention to you as an agent. They're going to pay attention to you if you're constantly keeping in touch with them and all of a sudden they need your services.
Right. So that top of mind game and being valuable to them. And I know that in follow-up results, those of you that go take a look at follow-up results, you'll see that they curate a lot of really great content. They push out a lot of valuable articles, some of them timely about news events, some of them about breakthroughs in the industry or shining examples that can be role modeled. And so, Richie, yeah.
I was just going to say one thing. You'd be surprised. You got to keep your own mind out of this. It's about your database. It's not about you. And don't think that because you haven't gotten a referral or someone calling you up that's been in your database forever and ever. I get all of a sudden calls from people that I might have put in my database 10 years ago. And all of a sudden they appear out of nowhere. But that's only because they're in my database and I'm marketing to them.
Well, thank you for that. And and we do know that that happens if you stay in relationship and in top of mind. And so I know your program, your newsletter functions at a really high level. It's one of my favorite tools that agents use with their databases. What would you have in your touch plan in addition to that? Would it include things that are not of a direct electronic nature? Like, are you still doing phone calls? Do they still receive something in the mail at some point? What does a good database protocol look like for you?
Well, so besides your email marketing, number one, you do have to call people in your database, and it should be about 4 times a year. And one of the things that I suggest to all realtors today, again, as an adjunct to your email marketing, is to, let's say, hold events, whether it's twice a year or more. So like in the fall, and it could be as simple as like in the fall, like I'll do if you want to have a pie delivered to your house for the holidays, let me know. Oh, and by the way, if you have a referral between now and then, I'll throw in a can of whipped cream, right? But what it does is you hold an event, and it could be an event in a movie theater, it could be baseball, spring training, whatever it is, the event. But the idea it also gets you to call your database. So you're calling them before the event to invite them. You're also calling them after the event saying thank you for coming. And even for those who did not attend, I'm sorry you missed it. It was a great event. I hope you can enjoy it, join us next time. All these things, that's about building the relationship with the people in your database.
That's like music, Richie, because we know a lot of people that are hearing so much about tech. A lot of our fellow professionals are hearing so much about tech that they think tech is a binary option, like once I'm enrolled in the tech, everything's taking care of itself. And what I'm hearing you say is the tech is really an enhancement that allows you to do the human work of speaking to these people and building relationship.
Right. Like when I talk to agents that have been in the business in a long time. So they're one little by little leveraging their business, right? In the beginning, an agent could do almost all the work itself because they have the time. Then they begin to leverage themselves out as they get too busy to do things like marketing and other social media and what have you. And then an agent all of a sudden now starts getting internet leads, whether it's from Boomtown or Zillow or other bold leads, whatever it is, and they still have the time to call on those leads. Eventually, they should not be doing that anymore. That's when they should be hiring, let's say, an ISO to do that kind of work. And those agents at a high level, at a high amount of business, those people should be calling their database specifically, get the business from the people they know.
That's good advice. Now, I think a question that we get a lot from our clients that I've been excited to ask you about is, there are people that we know professionals that do a really good job in a lot of ways with their database and with their community of relationships. And yet if I took several agents who all do well in that category, one of them might get a lot of referrals and one of them might get fewer referrals. So, and I know that you have built a really great referral network for yourself. And so is there a tip or a trick that makes the difference between having great relationships and being ready for when they need us, yet also to identify referrals?
Well, I'm going to go a little bit off on here as a realtor and really into referrals. What I found for myself this year, to me, is a whole new level for us realtors. Is actually building up a separate database of realtors around the country to build an agent referral business. That has been working really my own business, and it's helping other agents that I'm doing this for. And that too is a form of warding off technology. It's building relationships, and you're treating realtors the same way you would treat your own sphere of influence.
That's very interesting. So we're talking about using technology to our benefit and also defending ourselves from really large uses of technology that could steamroll over independent businesses. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, and yes, absolutely. It's about how can you build other new relationships with actually people at your disposal that you're not using right now. And that's for more of an experienced agent that's been doing business and knows how to develop relationships with other realtors. But even for, I'm going off a little here, for going back to the brand new agent, it's very hard for a brand new agent to get referrals. I want to point out a mistake that I made in my career. In your first year in being a realtor, you have to let everyone in your family, all your relatives, all the friends that you have, not in your area, but around the country, and let them know how you just began a new business, and you're going to be an integral part of my business by letting me know if you're planning on moving, or if you have someone that you know is moving, that just let me know. And I will get you an agent to help you. Or even if you know of an agent, let me make that referral for you. That would be a great help to my own business. And if you don't say it, they're not going to think about you. My own family didn't call me. So I don't want you to make that mistake. That's found business for you.
Yeah, that's one of the most smirk-worthy things we'll hear from clients. They'll say, "Yeah, I thought I was doing a good job of communicating to everybody, and
right.
Then my sister just told me she bought a house with someone else, and she said, 'Oh, would you have wanted to help me with that?'" And of course, we think that's a silly question. Yet,
Right.
That's our accountability, right? We hadn't set that up. You know, there's another thing that I want to give you credit for and share with whoever's watching our video, is that there's a coaching question. You know, we're very fortunate to get to grow businesses. We're growing a lot of businesses over here. And there's a question that got added totally from my relationship with you and the time that I spent with you, which is that referral networks are not all created equal. So while I might enjoy having a referral relationship with agents all across the nation, one of the questions that we have added to some markets that we coach, we would say, do you know where people are moving in from? And I learned that from you, because in your beautiful area over in Prescott, Arizona, you were able to identify where a large portion of your people were coming from. And here where I am, I'm in Austin, Texas. And here where I am in Austin, Texas, we know quite a bit about where a lot of our people come from. Right. So we reach out directly to agents in those areas and let them know about their properties.
Absolutely. And one of my follow-up results clients is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And she was saying, and I was saying to her, she was asking me, can I do that agent referral business? I said, why? Who's moving to Grand Rapids, Michigan? But she explained to me, she says, no one's coming here for warm weather. She said, but people from all over Michigan move to Grand Rapids, Michigan for work. It's a big city. So she's just marketing to agents in other cities in Michigan. And it's been working great for her.
Well, I love that how that's kind of a parallel, because we know a couple of the big real estate companies have launched nationwide referral services. And yet what we're also recognizing is, while that's a really large tech deployment, it might not be nearly as effective as having some key relationships where you know people are really coming to your city from.
Correct. And another thing to add to that about those big companies that are doing that for their agents, from what I see, that's still just about pulling information. So if I'm an agent in Prescott, Arizona, and I have a client moving to somewhere in California, I can look up an agent in California to have a conversation with. But that's only about pulling information. I'm talking about pushing information just like you would to your sphere of influence. Why aren't we building up a database of realtors that we're constantly pushing our information to, so that when they need someone, they're only going to think of me, the same way as your sphere of influence?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's been very powerful for our clients, and you brought that to the table. I appreciate that. Well, everybody, before I close this out with the last question here, I want you to recognize the name of Richie's company. It's Richie Laser, and he runs Follow-Up Results. He's the founder of Follow-Up Results, and you can certainly find them. They're not hiding. At the same time, like always, you can reach out to me if I can be of service. Les at rialtoacademy.com. That's Les with one S, at rialtoacademy.com. And I'm happy to connect you with Richie. Follow-Up Results is one of the companies that we recommend for a robust communications plan with your database. And also, the most important thing today, I think, is that you reframe your thinking. Let's all reframe our thinking as we go to grow this fantastic and important home sales industry to the largest that it can be and the most respected that it can be. Let's recognize that with all the tech that's going on, being tech supported, like Richie's Follow-Up Results program uses fantastic tech, yet I hope you're picking up on all the humanity, all the human gestures, and that this is a human business with human relationships, and making relationships on purpose with people in your sphere or with the areas that people are moving into your city from specifically, or that you can give referrals to. Where do people move from your city to? And so so that helps us with our theme quite a bit, Richie. Human. Yep. We're a bunch of human agents, even technology. One thing we point out to our clients lately is, you do know that people got rich and sold thousands of homes with a pencil and a legal pad before the internet ever got here.
Absolutely.
Well, Richie, we really appreciate you sharing some of this stuff with us, and I'm sure some of our clients will reach out to you with questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I should have asked, that you'd like to put a button on that?
I think you touched on everything. I'm sure there might be some other things, but like you said, just feel free to contact me, and if anything I can do for any one of your clients, help them along in this process, I'd be more than happy to.
Well, you're very generous, and I know how Richie treats his clients. I know firsthand, and I would recommend that if you're curious about adding a powerful newsletter or even just reinforcing your database foundations, a call to Richie and follow-up results is probably in your future. All right, Richie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Les.
I sure like spending that time with you today. It reminds me of all of our coaching days. It was an honor.
Absolutely. You were the best coach. I loved you.
You're very generous. I appreciate it. It's your company is a beautiful thing, and we're proud to help. All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll be talking to you again in the near future.